David.
Yes, sir.
David Pendleton.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
I'm doing well.
Do you believe that the weather is being modified?
I see things I can't understand, and weather patterns seem to be running crazy.
Well,
and there could be that chance.
Yeah, I mean, I keep looking at the weather app, on the smartphone, and it says no rain predicted for the next 10 days, 0. And then all of a sudden, I hear you say there's a 20% chance of rain tomorrow. And I thought I heard some rain on the roof last night, I thought. Did you hear any rain on the roof?
Missed the rain last...
I even heard Dave Michaels say that there was a chance of rain, I think.
Yeah, I think tomorrow is 20% chance of rain. From my experience, what that means is usually a drizzle. That's what we're going to see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dave Michaels.
Good morning, MZ.
Tell us the Dave Cave report for the moment.
Well, I have just got here. I'm just getting in. Everything is stocked and ready to go. We have a new sale starting next week. If you heard the commercials playing, you might have had a chance to get there early last week. That was Friday. Thursday and Friday, I think, were the first days. But officially, the sale starts next week, and that is happening all week from 12 till 7, Monday through Friday.
Pretty good sale, huh?
It's a great sale. BTT is the only thing that is not on sale, but once you do buy your Tangy Tangerine, everything else is 30% off, which is a big deal right now, MZ. Prices have gone up slightly.
Yeah.
I mean, a few bucks here, a few bucks there. It'll make a difference. But when you shop and you get a sale like this...
Well, just to give you an idea, what I've observed is that other longevity distributors think this sale is so good, they show up and stock up themselves.
Oh,
isn't that cool?
Yeah. That is kind of cool. And it makes sense, too.
Yeah.
But
and if they want to do it, do it. It's cool, But, but that tells you what a deal these deals are that you come up with.
It really is. Now, the best place to go is to the Dave Cave. We're at 2300 Portola Drive. If you can't make it there, but the other option is to go to KSCOhealth.com. KSCOhealth.com. And, I would feel bad if I didn't mention that our friends down at the Bay Briar Shop, they carry a good supply of things that we don't have here at the Dave Cave.
Sure.
They have a good selection of things that we don't always carry here down at the Bay Briar Shop.
And you're still doing delivery to the South Bay?
Yes, I just got back from there, what was it, Thursday? Or yesterday?
So
I don't remember.
For
what day is
all
it?
those humans who have been complaining that we don't have Dave Cave South somewhere in Monterey County, it's almost better.
Yeah, you have
because you have Dave, which is the authentic Dave from the Dave Cave, who will come to you, on a certain schedule, right?
Right. Yes, and it's usually towards the end of the week, but you could call 218-5726 and leave a message. I know I try to take messages, MZ, but I get so many phone calls, it's just hard. So you got to call me.
Yeah.
831-218-5726. That's 831-218-KSCO, and order whatever it is that you want delivered. Sound good? And, I want to mention, MZ, just how good the Tangy Tangerine is. Now, this is a 2.0. The 2.5 is relatively new. That's on back order. The Tangy Tangerine has 87 of the 90 essential nutrients. I don't know how many people remember that, but you should remember that the Tangy Tangerine has 87 of the 90 essential nutrients. When you hear Dr. Wallach talk about the Mighty 90, he's talking about the Tangy Tangerine and your EFAs. Those are your fish oils, your omega-3, 6, and 9. But as far as the majority, they can all be found in the Tangy Tangerine, 87 of the 90 essential nutrients. The only other 3 that are missing are your fatty acids, your fish oils, your eggs, butter.
And the reason they're missing is because they wouldn't remain fresh or something?
Right.
How does that work?
Yeah, they're not supposed to be exposed to oxygen. So that's why any good fish oil will be in a capsule or a gel cap so that it's not exposed to oxygen. Because once it does get exposed to oxygen, it starts to oxidize and it starts to get rancid. So you don't want that. You want fresh oils, and the only way to ensure that is that they are
You don't
produced.
want rancid supplements.
No, that would be nasty. Nasty. 87 of the 90 essential nutrients, MZ, right here in this bottle. Tangy Tangerine.
I hear it. It sounds wonderful.
I'm out there from 10 to 2 every Saturday, 218-5726, KSCOhealth.com.
And coming up this week, what the hours? What are the hours?
12 till 7.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Very
you got
good.
it, MZ.
Okay, thank you so much, Dave Michaels. Let's start the Saturday special for May, whatever the heck this is, the 5th. No, the 7th. There we go. Here we go. No, like so. I got to start it again the right way.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
You would think a quote-unquote radio professional who's been doing this job for over 31 years, and a few years before that even, would have his bleep together, and would hit the button and the music would start when it's supposed to, instead of having to apologize and say, oh no, we got to do it all over again. What kind of a place is this? What kind of a station is this?
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Okay, so here it is, the, whatever I said it was.
7th.
Yeah. And what are we going to do today? Well, since tomorrow is Mother's Day, right? I thought it would be really nice to talk about my mother.
Sounds good.
And you didn't know Kay.
I never met her.
Wow. Yeah. But what a gal here. There was a wonderful article written about my mom shortly after she passed on January 3rd, 2017. And I sent this. Yeah, KSCO. So let's see if I can bring this up. I don't like to read, but Wallace Bain did an article in the Santa Cruz Sentinel. And yeah, here we go. I finally brought it up. I sent a link to myself this morning to sort of put together this show. And, if we have calls, we'll just see how it evolves, okay? I want to do a retrospective of my mom, because she's been gone, but I don't believe really gone. I believe she's here in spirit and everything for, 2017, 5+ years.
That's beautiful.
About 5.5 years. And as I said, I don't like to read, but Wallace Bain did such an amazing job. He's probably the best writer who there ever has been in this area. He was writing for the Sentinel back then. I think he's now with Lookout, Santa Cruz, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, here, I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a good part of it anyhow, for those of you who either remember or do not remember my mom. You'll benefit from this a little bit, David. There was no better, by the way, let's see what it says here. The headline says, K. Zwerling, 1921 to 2017, KSCO's signature voice never backed away from her conservative views. Way back in 2011, the year Charlie Sheen meltdowns and Occupy protests, the Donald Trump for President bandwagon was to engage in severe understatement, sparsely populated, no more so than in the state citadel of Santa Cruz County. But there was at least one voice on board. In a move that now looks downright visionary, Kay Zwerling pronounced from her perch at KSCO 1080 AM that Trump was what the country needed in the White House. It's a sad irony that Zwerling never got to see Trump inaugurated. the longtime signature voice of KSCO, known for her plain-spoken conservative weekly commentaries, died a couple of weeks before the inauguration at the age of 95. She had disappeared from the hurly-burly of political commentary more than 3 years ago because of declining health. In fact, said her son Michael Zwerling, KSCO's Santa Cruz-based owner, memory loss had robbed her of the satisfaction of fully understanding Trump's election. But by the time she had stepped away from her weekly broadcasts, Kay Zwerling had already built a considerable legacy in local media as a champion of a minority viewpoint in Santa Cruz. Those who disliked her political attitudes did so intensely, but those who liked her commentaries loved her. There was no better advocate for KSCO than my mom, said Michael Zwerling. Everywhere she went, she was always asking people, do you listen to the radio? And they would go, hey, I know that voice, you're Kay. So in 2010, she even published a collection of her commentaries, borrowing its title from her regular sign-off, for KSCO, I'm Kay Zwerling. She was never coy about her views. Her ferocious and unapologetic conservative viewpoint was the source of her popularity. Oh, she was conservative, sure, said Michael Zwerling, but she would throw people curves too. She did a great commentary once on alcohol versus pot, saying that it makes no sense that pot is illegal when alcohol is 1,000 times more ravaging to society. She was very generous, said longtime KSCO on-air personality Rosemary Chalmers. Something a lot of people don't know was that she was quietly very philanthropic, unquote. Chalmers said that soon after she took the job at KSCO in the early 1990s, Kay Zwerling asked her about her own family. Upon learning that Chalmers' mother had died many years before, Zwerling responded with, quote, not to worry, you have a mom now. It surprised me, to be honest with you, said Chalmers. It was very heartful, too. Like many actual mothers and daughters, the relationship between the two women was often contentious. But, said Chalmers, undergirded with a genuine attachment. In public, Kay Zwerling was often the object of considerable hostility. A cartoon depiction of her wearing a Nazi swastika was particularly offensive to her, given her Sephardic Jewish heritage. In fact, it was a stout Zionism and defense of the state of Israel that was the core of her political conservatism and informed much of her belief system. The Trump commentary from 2011 is part of one of the most infamous episodes in KSCO's history. Its broadcast coincided with an in-studio guest appearance from Ray Taliaferro, a veteran liberal talk show host from KGO in San Francisco. Taliaferro was well known for his operatic theatricality. I can't say this. I can't even... you understand what I'm saying. At the Trump commentary, and the Trump commentary set him off on an aria of outrage. The resulting Kay meets Ray qualifies as confrontational political radio at its most fiery. You want to hear that?
Oh, sure.
All right, we'll play it. Still, said Rosemary Chalmers, despite pushback, Kay Zwerling never took things too personally. She would just say, that's how people are. You don't have to agree with me. That's entirely your choice. She realized that her belief system wasn't the only one in the world, but it was strong. It was a strong belief system, and it was hers. Let's see. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff here. I guess K days. For the last 18 months of Kay's life, KSCO's Rosemary Chalmers had been engaged in weekly K days, visiting the Zwerling matriarch every Thursday. She was always thrilled to bits to see me, said Chalmers. The two women would go to lunch at the same table at the same restaurant, Firefish Grill on the Santa Cruz Wharf, and then go to Mary Ann's for ice cream. She told me toward the end of her life that she had no regrets, that she had had a wonderful life and had everything to be grateful for. So anyhow, that's a little background on my mom.
Yeah.
this fitting time, and I thank Amy for suggesting that we do a tribute to my mom on the eve of Mother's Day.
Excellent idea.
It makes wonderful sense here. So, what's next? Well, why don't I go to the email here, and I'm sort of fumbling around here with this damn very old version of the Internet Explorer Gmail. Okay, this has to come up, and then we'll be able to run some commentaries. Let's see here. A link to KSCO. Okay, all right. Now we will be able to. We'll just play a few of these things. Hopefully, it'll work. Yeah. So stand by, ladies and gentlemen, right here on your favorite radio station. We are going to play some of Kay's
The
commentaries.
following is a KSCO commentary. Here is Kay Zwerling.
It's the big elephant in the room this time. It keeps needling us constantly since 9/11, and especially after our war in Afghanistan. We realized then that the Islamic terrorists had already infiltrated the entire world, many living among us here in the U.S. It's 4 years since we entered Iraq, and we can see now that our military effort was too little, too late. What a mess we have created. We were too weak. We were never strong enough, and the Iraqis finally didn't care enough to want to be a democracy. We didn't have the wherewithal to stop their infighting. The one thing that would have made all the difference in Iraq and may have prevented the civil war there is so noticeable by its absence, and it's called the draft. D-R-A-F-T. The courageous young Americans who signed up to fight in Iraq did not expect to be called upon to go back again and again and again. That was not the expected deal. That was not fair. But our leaders opted to do that rather than to establish what was fair, and that was the draft. And if it's so, why, after 60 years, do we still have occupation troops in peaceful Germany and peaceful Japan? Where is the government outrage when daily military recruiters are physically thrown out of publicly financed universities around our country? All Americans benefit from living in our glorious nation, so all able-bodied Americans should be serving in the military. That terrible word that no elected official from the president down has the cojones to mention has been missing for the past 4 years. What are we waiting for? Our enemies are laughing at our self-imposed impotence. Poisoned and crippled by political correctness, like all of weak and useless Europe, our leaders are afraid that they will be committing political suicide by promoting the draft. I think the opposite would be true. They would finally be considered honest, courageous, and serious instead of self-serving. Like it or not, 9/11 was the dawn of a different world. Realistically, we may be fighting world terrorism for 20 years or even more. To defend ourselves and our allies, we must all be totally prepared and strong, like my generation was in conquering evil in World War II. We were all involved. We all cared. We all had a vested interest. We all had meat rationing and other restrictions. Women took over the factories when our men were fighting the enemy. Because we were together, we won. Every able-bodied man and woman should serve willingly in the military for 2 years at age 18, then be in the reserves until age 50. That is the law in Israel, which always has a strong, prepared army. If our entire society was invested in our safety and security, many of the polarized situations politically would be neutralized. Again, for the past 4 years, most Americans have been only spectators and critics of the war, but personally involved? Unthinkable. To them I say, wake up. If you want freedom, you must be willing to fight for it. Every American must be involved. Every American must care. A country cannot fight cheap and win. The world observes and sneers at our stupidity and at our military weakness. There are those cowards who will scurry away to Canada or elsewhere, but they will be in the minority. To reiterate, if we initiate the draft, never again will it be too little and too late. For KSCO and KOMY, this is Kay Zwerling.
Okay, let's hear this
If you
one.
like an audio
The
or
following
written
is
KSCO's
Oh, wow.
commentary,
How do
go
I-
to KSCO.com and click on K's
Hold on a second here.
commentaries.
This is...
The following is a KSCO commentary.
Just let it run.
Here is K's Zwerling.
With all the oppressive stuff we've been experiencing these past 6 months, it's time to put it all aside and have a few laughs and some trivia instead. It's chuckle time. This one is called the tobacco smoke enema. The expression, "stop blowing smoke up my ass," is still used often. Its origin from 1750 to 1810 was believed that blowing tobacco smoke into the rectum of one who was unconscious from drowning might help that victim become resuscitated if a narrow rubber pipe was inserted into the anus, and the warm tobacco smoke would help the victim to survive. After several years, that technique became doubtful, so it was stopped. So blowing smoke up one's ass now means what you're telling me is doubtful, or it could be a phony compliment. The next one is, in South Los Angeles, a fourplex was destroyed by a fire. A Nigerian family of 6 con artists lived on the first floor, and all 6 died in the fire. An Islamic group of 7 welfare cheats, all illegally in the country, lived on the second floor, and they too all perished in the fire. 6 L.A. Hispanic gangbanger ex-cons lived on the 3rd floor, and they too died. A lone white couple lived on the top floor, and that couple survived. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton were furious. They flew into L.A., met with the fire chief on camera. They loudly demanded to know why the blacks, Muslims, and Hispanics all died in the fire, and only the white couple lived. The fire chief said, "They were at work." Next, this is called, "What Have We Learned in 2064 Years?" The budget should be balanced, the treasury should be refilled, public debt should be reduced, the arrogance of leaders should be tempered and controlled, the assistance to foreign lands should be curtailed, people must again learn to work instead of living on public assistance. Signed, Cicero, 55 BC. Evidently, we haven't learned anything. And now this one is called Inner Peace. I'm passing this on to you because it definitely works. By following simple advice heard on the Dr. Phil show, you too can find inner peace. Dr. Phil proclaimed, "The way to achieve inner peace is to finish all the things that you have started." So I looked around my house to see all the things I started and haven't finished, and before I left the house this morning, I finished off a bottle of white Zinfandel, a bottle of tequila, a package of Oreos, the remainder of my old Prozac prescription, the rest of the cheesecake, some Doritos, and a box of chocolates. You have no idea how freaking good I feel right now. Finally, this one is called, "And Then the Fight Started." My wife and I were watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. While we were in bed, I turned to her and said, "Do you want to have sex?" She answered no. Then I said, "Is that your final answer?" She didn't even look at me this time, simply saying yes. So I said, "Then I would like to phone a friend." And then the fight started. My wife was hinting about what she wanted for our upcoming anniversary. She said, "I want something shiny that goes 0 to 150 in about 3 seconds." So I bought her a bathroom scale. And then the fight started. A woman was standing nude looking in her mirror. She was not happy with what she sees, and she says to her husband, "I feel horrible. I look old, fat, and ugly. I really need you to pay me a compliment." The husband replied, "Your eyesight is damn near perfect." And then the fight started. After retiring, I went to the Social Security office to apply for Social Security. The woman behind the counter asked me for my driver's license to verify my age. I looked in my pocket and realized I left my wallet home. I told the woman that I would have to go home and come back later, and she said, "Unbutton your shirt." So I opened my shirt, revealing my curly silver hair. She said, "That silver hair on your chest is proof enough for me," and she processed my application. When I got home, I excitedly told my wife about my experience. She said, "You should have dropped your pants. You might have gotten disability too." And then the fight started. For KSCO, this is Zwerling.
The following is a KSCO commentary. Here is Zwerling.
I wrote this story about my mother in 1981, 2 years after her death. I was studying clinical philosophy at that time, a new discipline, which was deep and personal and analytical. And while I was still missing my mom, I thought about her a great deal then. Parents and children have powerful and intimate relationships and perspectives about each other, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, and sometimes neutral. Here, I revealed my mother through my own appreciation of being a child, a parent, and a grandparent. I address the philosophical problem, that of finding a sense of groundedness in response to the universal human problem of the abyss, that is, the lack of meaning and aloneness or nothingness. My mother found her ground in God, and in so many ways, now I do too. This is called My Mother's Ground. She came to America from Greece in 1912 or thereabouts at the age of 16. The fourth in a family of 6 children, quite poor, she had been a young school teacher in her village. Her sister and brother-in-law living in New York sent her the fare to join them in the land of hope and opportunity. She met and married my father, had 3 children, became a widow at 42. With the 3 of us married or gone soon after, she remained alone in the big house and somehow managed to make the money last. I worried and wondered about her aloneness every night. She would say to me, "God will take care of me. I'm not afraid." God was my mother's ground. An invalid for 6 years and in need of continual custodial care, my 82-year-old mother spent her final years in a local convalescent home. At times she was amazingly alert, other times forgetful, most often strangely peaceful and content. In the early days of her confinement, she would often ask in bewilderment, "Por qué Dios me hizo esto?" Why did God do this to me? Interestingly, after her second stroke, she communicated almost exclusively in Spanish, her native tongue, despite the fact that she had been quite articulate in English. What made it possible for my mother to face each day with valor, even a smile? Her philosophy, which she affirmed each day when we were together. Todo lo que hace Dios es para bien. Everything that God does is for good. God was my mother's ground. In a way, I envied her very much, for I don't believe she ever allowed herself to see the abyss. She chose very early in her life to insulate herself from the anxiety of nihilism by a total and daily commitment to the will of God. What a fascinating and incongruous polarity of personality was my mother. a most gentle, benign imposition of an iron will in areas concerning her children, and a personal, complete, and total surrender to the will of God. Indeed, God was my mother's ground. For KSCO and KOMY, this is Kay Zwerling.
With a KSCO commentary, here is Kay Zwerling.
As a pedestrian observer of the human condition and of the attitudes of society toward the two most widely used recreational substances, alcohol and marijuana, otherwise known as pot, one wonders why alcohol is universally accepted, condoned, and promoted, while marijuana or pot is maligned and in some places forbidden. The U.S. government has declared pot to be illegal, so many caught with its possession or use are fined, stigmatized, languishing in prison, and otherwise made miserable. There is documented medical proof that pot can ease the pain of terminally ill patients and afford their last days a measure of mellow peace. Despite this positive use of the substance, the federal government continues to declare it illegal, even though some states do allow its use for medical purposes. Alcohol, on the other hand, gets a free ride, despite the fact that its legal use has caused and continues to cause enormous human misery with the breakup of families, neglect of children, loss of jobs, accidents and killings by drunken drivers, and the overall drain on society. One could argue that while both substances are considered bad, alcohol causes more grief in the world than pot does. During a trip to Jamaica many years ago, our tour guide pointed out the abundant marijuana bushes growing wild alongside the roads, and he attributed the longevity and good health of most Jamaicans to their daily drinking of a tea made from the marijuana leaves. So one could wonder, if alcohol, with nothing good to justify its use, is federally legal, shouldn't pot, with some significant proven good, likewise be legal? Or put another way, if pot is illegal, surely shouldn't alcohol also be illegal? For KSCO and KOMY, this is Kay Zwerling.
The following is a KSCO editorial. Here's KSCO co-owner Kay Zwerling.
This one made the rounds a while back, but it's still worth a few belly laughs. Let's call it, "Have a nice day." The other day, I went to the local religious bookstore where I saw a "Honk If You Love Jesus" bumper sticker. I bought it and put it on the back bumper of my car, and I'm really glad I did. What an uplifting experience followed. I was stopped at the light at a busy intersection, just lost in thought of the Lord, and didn't notice that the light had changed. The bumper sticker really worked. I found lots of people who loved Jesus. Why, the guy behind me started to honk like crazy. He must really love the Lord, because pretty soon he leaned out his window and yelled, "Jesus Christ," as loud as he could. It was like a football game with him shouting, "Go, Jesus Christ, go!" Everyone else started honking too, so I leaned out my window and waved and smiled to all of those loving people. There must have been a guy from Florida back there, because I could hear him yelling something about a sunny beach, and saw him waving in a funny way with only his middle finger stuck up in the air. I asked my kids what that meant. They kind of squirmed, looked at each other, giggled, and told me it was the Hawaiian good luck sign. So I leaned out the window and gave him the good luck sign back. A couple of the people were so caught up in the joy of the moment that they got out of their cars and were walking toward me. I bet they wanted to pray. But just then I noticed that the light had changed, and I stepped on the gas. And a good thing I did, because I was the only driver to get across the intersection. I looked back at them standing there. I leaned way out of the window, gave them a big smile, and held up the Hawaiian good luck sign as I drove away. Praise the Lord for such wonderful folks. Honk if you love Jesus, and you all have a nice day. For KSCO and KOMY, this is Kay Zwerling.
The following is a KSCO editorial. Here is KSCO co-owner Kay Zwerling.
I want to discuss greed and the lack of accountability in our county government. In 1771, Samuel Adams wrote in the Boston Gazette, quote, "Power makes men wanton. It intoxicates the mind. And unless those with whom the power is entrusted are carefully watched, such men will not govern the people according to the known laws of the state," unquote. Well, it's clear that our county lawmakers are not being carefully watched. For while we have entrusted them with making laws and decisions which will benefit the people, first and foremost, they benefit themselves. The county administrative officer, called the CAO, sets yearly salaries for herself, the board of supervisors, and other county employees. This is like the fox minding the chicken coop. Soon, this CAO will be giving herself a 30% plus raise to $191,000 per year, about the same as the Vice President of the United States. This, plus a hefty pension plan, Social Security, benefits, and other perks. Each supervisor will also get a 30% plus raise and benefits to approximately $98,000. All for attending about 35 meetings per year. Assistants do most of the grunt work for them and bring them up to date on issues. By contrast, San Francisco supervisors get $36,000 per year, not $98,000. These lawmakers tell us that we're facing serious budget deficits, and so now they're cutting needed aid to the poor, the elderly, the mentally and physically ill, and the handicapped. What happened to the supposed budget surplus of about $21 million we had only 4 months ago? The Stroke Center budget has been cut, also the Center for Independent Living, which helps wheelchair-bound, handicapped, and convalescing people to become self-reliant. The latest outrage, county managers want the supervisors to make 33% cuts to the medically indigent who do not have any insurance. Bottom line, no more preventive care for the poor. Well, to Susan Moriello, CAO, and to each of the supervisors, I say, in the face of all these hardships, to so many constituents who trust you for protection and guidance and wisdom, how dare you plan to give yourselves 30% plus raises, or any raises? You've given yourselves too much already with your lifetime benefits and perks. Your greed and callousness are irresponsible and unforgivable. You all deserve to be ousted from your cushy bureaucratic jobs. Recently, for one brief moment, Warmhout suggested to her colleagues that maybe they should forego 30% plus raises. But that idea went over like a lead balloon. Jeff Almquist, poor baby, said that he needs that raise for his son's college tuition. Warmhout could have refused her raise, but she didn't. Heck, she made her gesture, and that was enough. Oh, yes, she served in the Santa Cruz City Council for umpteen years and now is running for a third term as supervisor. So much for career politicians and term limits, but that's another story. So, how do we, the people, stop all these excesses? We could do what California state voters did in 1990 when they became fed up with lawmakers' abuses. They crafted an initiative which created a panel of citizens, not state employees, who meet yearly to set lawmakers' salaries from the governor on down. It was put on the ballot, passed easily, and is now law. Because of budget constraints for the past 6 years, no state salary increases have been approved. That panel is the California Citizens Compensation Commission, and the chairman is Claude Brinegar, Brinegar. While it is too late for this November election, we could prepare an initiative for an upcoming election. If you would like to be involved, call KSCO at 475-1080. Leave your name and phone number. We will be happy to provide free airtime to solve this issue of lawmakers' greed. Once again, kudos to those who spend many hours to decipher obscure, convoluted county budgets, gathering financial facts for this editorial. They are Steve Hartman, Bob Sir, Ed Mazenko, Harold Griffith, and Mike Schmidt, all heroic seekers for honesty and truth in government. Let us not forget the powerful tool we have in the initiative process. It is the only way left for citizens in a free society to make right that which is wrong. For KSCO and KOMY, this is Kay Zwerling. This is Kay Zwerling.
The following is a KSCO commentary. Here is Kay Zwerling.
The Democrats are really self-destructing, and many constituents are losing confidence in their judgment. George Murtha wants the troops to leave Iraq at once. Nancy Pelosi agrees with him, and Howard Dean says we can't win the war in Iraq. Liberals protect the rights of criminals, but they ignore the rights of victims. Now they believe that our military is cruel to captured terrorists. Islamic terrorists slice off the heads of their captive victims. Where's the outrage about that? Congress just crafted into law gentle parameters for our troops to abide by while interrogating the captive enemy. This is crazy. It's also demeaning and insulting to our troops. Unlike the fanatic insurgents, our troops are not barbarians. They are civilized, trained soldiers who love our country. They must have the freedom to use their judgment in fighting this war while confronted every day with the new phenomenon of the suicide bomber. There is no level playing field, so they must not be forced to succumb to the boundaries of the politically correct. The elimination of terror in interrogation sounds noble, but it doesn't work unless both sides agree. The enemy is laughing at us. About Abu Ghraib, as a result of the foolish and reckless judgment of a few soldiers, the American and European media have had a field day dissecting this unfortunate episode, and they kept it alive for months, much to the detriment of the morale of our troops. It should not have happened. What was done to the captive detainees was shameful, but the embarrassment endured by those detainees pales against what the terrorists do to our captive soldiers, like slice off heads. Again, where is the outrage? Why are we so concerned about how the world, especially the Europeans, view us? These countries always dislike us, and now they judge and set moral standards for our behavior and that of our military, while at the same time they decline to get involved. This is war. It's ludicrous for us to be obsessed with not offending countries like France, Germany, and Russia, who all joined forces with the scoundrels Saddam Hussein and Kofi Annan to steal billions of dollars earmarked for the hungry of the world in the oil for food scandal. Where is the outrage there? Now the Congress is involved in the execution of the war. What a bummer that is. By making laws to not use terror to obtain valuable knowledge from the enemy, knowledge which could and does save many lives and could possibly bring an end to the combat sooner, all this ties the hands of our military leaders, and that's idiotic, and it demeans our generals. To the Democrats who are shamelessly politicizing this war by their endless negativity, I say, back off. Let the troops do their job. Stop with the gloom and doom which continue to delight and energize the enemy. And to those who stoop to call our president a liar and a fool and other derogatory names, I say, you will never regain political majority and power with those tactics. And that's why I think you are self-destructing. When you demean the presidency, you demean yourselves and you demean our country. Shape up. Get a grip. For KSCO and KOMY, this is K Zwerling. This is K.
The following is a KSCO commentary. Here is K Zwerling.
For some time, a primary irritation of mine has been the arrogant and stupid edicts created by liberal extremists who, about 25 years ago, ordained that we all should abide by their rules of social behavior, which they decided to call political correctness. I never bought into that rigid, humorless nonsense, and now most of us who think with logic and not with liberal selective feelings can see the destructive havoc political correctness has created. Much of the damage has been to our children, many of whom are adults who are spoiled, bewildered, and dependent. The ones I have said were cheated out of having parameters. And now the religious aspect of political correctness. When Minister Joe Wright was asked to open the new session of the Kansas Senate, everyone was expecting the usual generalities, but this is what they heard. Heavenly Father, we come before you today to ask your forgiveness and to seek your direction and guidance. We know your word says, woe to those who call evil good. But that's exactly what we have done. We've lost our spiritual equilibrium and reversed our values. We confess that we have ridiculed the absolute truth of your word and call it pluralism. We have exploited the poor and called it the lottery. We have rewarded laziness and called it welfare. We have killed our unborn and called it choice. We have shot abortionists and called it justifiable. We have neglected to discipline our children and called it building self-esteem. We have abused power and called it politics. We have coveted our neighbor's possessions and called it ambition. We have polluted the air with profanity and pornography and called it freedom of expression. We have ridiculed the time-honored values of our forefathers and called it enlightenment. Search us, O God, and know our hearts today, and cleanse us from every sin and set us free. Amen. The response was immediate. A number of legislators walked out during the prayer in protest. In 6 short weeks, Central Christian Church, where Reverend Wright is pastor, logged more than 5,000 phone calls, with only 47 of those calls responding negatively. The church is now receiving international requests for copies of this prayer from India, Africa, and Korea. If possible, please pass this prayer on to your friends. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. For KSCO and KOMY, this is K Zwerling. K Zwerling.
The following is a KSCO commentary. Here is K Zwerling.
Here's some good advice to protect yourself against identity theft. Have a piece of paper and a pencil ready for some important telephone numbers. Identity theft is the fastest growing crime today. No one is safe. Within minutes, an identity thief can wipe out your entire bank account, open up credit cards in your name, and ruin your credit so completely that you wouldn't even be able to open an account at the neighborhood drugstore. Listen to the advice here from a corporate attorney who sent the following out to the employees in his company. The next time you order checks, have only your initials, not your first name, your initial and your last name on your check. If someone takes your checkbook, they won't know if you sign your checks with just your initials or your first name, but the bank will know how you sign your checks. And when you're writing checks to pay on your credit card accounts, do not put the complete account number on the memo line. Instead, just put the last 4 numbers. The credit card company knows the rest of the numbers. Put your work phone on your checks instead of your home phone. If you have a P.O. box, then use that instead. Never have your Social Security printed on your checks. You can add it if it's necessary. Place the contents of your wallet on a photocopy machine. Do both sides of each license, credit card, etc. You will know what you had in your wallet and all of the account numbers and phone numbers to call and cancel. Keep the photocopy in a safe place. We've been told we should cancel our credit cards immediately, but the key is having the toll-free numbers and your card numbers handy so you know whom to call. Keep those where you can find them easily. But here's perhaps the most important. Call the 3 national credit card reporting organizations immediately. Equifax 1-800-525-6285. Experian 1-888-397-3742. TransUnion 1-800-680-7289. Social Security Administration fraud line 1-800-269-0271. Pass this information along. It really could help someone you care about or yourself. We pass along jokes on the internet. We pass along just about everything. And so now I would like to conclude by passing on a little joke. A husband and a wife are waiting at the bus stop with their 9 children. A blind man joins them after a few minutes. When the bus arrives, they find it overloaded, and only the wife and the 9 children are able to fit onto the bus. So the husband and the blind man decide to walk. After a while, the husband gets irritated by the ticking of the blind man's stick as he taps it on the sidewalk, and he says to him, "Why don't you put a piece of rubber on the end of your stick? That ticking sound is driving me crazy." The blind man replies, "If you would have put a rubber on the end of your stick, we'd be riding the bus. So shut the hell up." KSCO and KOMY. This is Kay Zwerling.
Okay, there's a whole lot more.
All right.
David, you get the idea?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, wasn't she something?
Wow factor.
I got to tell you, sort of emotional for me to sit here and listen to that because she really was amazing, and I want to thank all the, the emailers who have sent me Ron Perigo, Kathy Vance, Art Davies, with the kind words about my mom. And I don't know, we'll just sort of play it by ear. I think these commentaries are timeless. I've been saying for a long time we should continue to run them. And maybe have them sponsored, and if not sponsored by one or more businesses, just sponsored by KSCO like they always were, Anyhow, we're coming up to the end of the hour here, hour number 1 of the KSCO Saturday Special. If you're calling in, we'll put you on hold and take a few calls. But I think we'll do the Ray Taliaferro thing next hour. KSCO Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey.
Clear with a low of 43 degrees. Sunday, high near 64. Sunday night, low of 41, and Monday, 20% chance of rain, sunny, high near 62. On the seas, we currently have a small craft advisory in effect through Sunday afternoon. Today will be northwest winds 20 to 30 knots with gusts up to 35 knots. Wind waves 1 to 2 feet increasing to 6 to 7 feet this afternoon. Westerly swells 4 to 6 feet at 13 seconds and southwest 2 to 3 feet at 17 seconds. Patchy dense fog this morning. KSCO News Talk time is currently 11:06, and now back to Hour 2 of the Saturday Special with your host, MZ.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
Oh, we're happy to be presenting a tribute to my mom on the day before Mother's Day. Kay left us on January 3rd, 2017.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
Rich Lieberman suggested that we play the Kay Meets Ray, the infamous Kay Meets Ray. Have you heard about that?
I have not heard about it. But we did have...
Ray Taliaferro was a very popular KGO overnight talk host, extreme left-wing liberal guy, very passionate, very popular, and he got fired one day from KGO in San Francisco in December of 2011, and along with a lot of other really great KGO hosts. And I reached out to him and a number of and other KGO hosts and said, hey, come on down to KSCO. And Ray came down for a day with his lady friend and appeared in the studio here for, it wasn't a Saturday special, it was a Friday. I think it was a Friday during the Dr. Corey Gold 2-hour noon balloon. And I guest hosted for that day. We had a great couple of hour visit with Ray, and my mom joined the program afterwards. The second hour, I should say, and all hell broke loose. And so I think we have played that before. It's riveting radio. It really is. So, but Randall and David and Alec have called. So let's take their calls first, and probably use the rest of the hour after the phone calls to play Kay Meets Ray or something. So let's try it anyhow. Okay, Randall in Pacific Grove, you're on KSCO.
Hello. Back in the 90s, I would call Ray Taliaferro. I'd also call Michael Savage.
Yeah.
Michael Savage is still my favorite host, even though they harassed him and persecuted him off the air. I wanted to say that every time they got to the point where things that I would say, he had to take a half-hour restroom break. I mean, yeah, he was something else, man. And but I have a joke I wanted to tell you. I don't want to not be able to tell the joke I have. But what bothered me about that case is apparently he was in Illinois, and he died under suspicious circumstances, and it hasn't been solved.
Yeah,
And
the
do
Ray
you have any
Taliaferro
update?
thing. You're right. No, we really don't. It's just a big question mark. I mean, I don't. If it's something that I think if it would have come out, it wouldn't have gotten past me. Yeah, very sad. Ray is no longer with us. You're absolutely right. And so and it was
really bothers me. It really bothers me that there's been nothing on getting to the bottom of it, and there has been so many male celebrities, beginning with Gary Coleman, Bob Saget, that die very suspiciously, and there is no investigation. That really bothers me a lot. So anyway, back to my joke.
Okay, yeah, we got it. We got to keep moving a little bit. Want to hear a joke? Go ahead, Randall. Make us smile.
All right, why? You know, generic cigarettes are really cheap. You know why they're so cheap?
No.
Because that's what they grow the Marlboro tobacco in.
I don't think I'm particularly intelligent, but that one went over my head, and it went over David's also.
Okay, they use it for fertilizer.
Oh,
to grow Marlboro tobacco.
Okay.
The Marlboro
Okay.
company uses, all right. Okay, have a good day.
Okay. All right. Thank you. There goes Randall. Here goes David in San Francisco. David, you're on.
Yeah, that one went over my head, too.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
sorry to hear about your mom there, Michael. I lost mine 2 years ago, so yeah.
wait a minute. You're just learning about that now?
Well, I hadn't heard her. I rarely listen early in the morning. By the way, it was Ray. You own the station, right? She just would fill in, right?
Yeah, well, it's true. Mom had a minority interest in the radio station. It's sort of, we won't get into that. She was a co-owner, it's true.
Well,
That's
so
true.
he would have been arguing with the boss then, right?
Yeah, but so if we have, I'm sort of rushing because I want to have time to play that epic program, okay? So, Mom, for 2 or 3 years before she passed, she was unable to do commentaries, and she was very proud. And she had lost a good part of her memory, and you require a memory to do commentaries like my mom used to do. So, so it was from 2015 on. You definitely heard Kay's commentaries, but they were all replays. They were all
that's right.
classic ones.
Yeah, I remember that part. Hey, well, I just to make it quick, and then you can get onto your audio file there. In duty to care is a legal expression in. It's part of how America is strong, right? We the people band together to make a more perfect union. Right? We care about each other. We put together projects that suit us all. They're built right. You don't have to have somebody fixing and maintaining it with a service contract if it's built right the first time. So duty to care is a real strong part of a good government.
Got it.
Now, when you get into people like libertarians who hate government, they apparently show no duty to care. Yet they're gaining strength in government to this day, and they're basically saboteurs. So when you look at what's going on with Ukraine and Putin is an oligarch. Oligarchs have no duty to care for the people. They pretend that because they're so rich and powerful, they run the place, but they have no duty to care.
David, I hate to do this, but you've hijacked the show, and I don't want that. So thank you for calling. Alec in Santa Cruz, you're on.
Hey there, Mike. Good morning.
Hi, Alec.
Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say that I've been really enjoying you playing the commentaries, and that I will get really deep into thought, thinking about what she's saying, and then suddenly I start laughing my ass off.
Right.
And if, I hadn't heard those before, and I would encourage everybody to come on down to KSCO and buy the commentary book that they still have.
Yeah. We have so many. We have boxes and boxes of them, I think, and we shouldn't. Because they're special books. We shouldn't have any. They should be sold out. And they're like $6 a book if you buy in case quantity, and if you don't, they're like $20 or something. So, no big deal. But anyhow, thank you, Alec, for calling. You never got to meet Mom, but you have gotten to know her now, I think, a little bit better.
And I would certainly like to hear more. And I was just going to remind everybody, if I could, that Dave Michaels and Billy Army and Kenny Thomas are going to be at 88 Keys tonight.
Where is that now? That is Corralitos?
It's going to be in Morgan Hill tonight.
Morgan Hill, okay.
On Easton Avenue. But thanks for taking my call. I've been enjoying this. So
you bet.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, let's see. Thank you, Alec. Here's Mary in Aromas. I was hoping you would call Mary. You're the most appropriate person. You're 99 years old, and you're a mama. And happy Mother's Day.
3 kids. I've got 3 kids and 8 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren.
We love it.
Anyway, your mother. I was so upset that day. I fell off the porch. Everything happened to me that day.
What day?
The day that I called your mother. I called the radio station. I came in. I turned on the radio station. Your mother was on. She calmed me down. I And then I sat and then enjoyed her. And I've loved her ever since.
Yeah. So I sure am missing her, but
Yes.
But she's my ground, just like her mother was her ground, and you heard that commentary.
Yes.
So anyhow, all right. Hey, thank you for calling.
I'm enjoying the show.
Great. We love you,
Okay.
Mary. Thank you for calling, and
Bye-bye.
thank you for enjoying. Real quick here, Tony in Live Oak. You're on.
Yeah, hi, Michael. I used to play that guitar that I sold you for your mother when she was waiting there all alone for you to finish with the Saturday special. And when I started singing, the first time, she listened to this beautiful folk song and said, "You get right in there. I want you to open that door, get right in there, and get on the toe." She said, "Right now."
Yeah.
And I just kept singing, and she calmed down. And I sang for 2 or 3 other times.
Yeah.
But I thought you'd like to hear that story. She was insisting on busting into whatever the show
Yeah,
was.
that was Mom, all right. If she heard something she liked, she wanted to share it.
Right.
You know. So
Now, I'll take that guitar back from you any day for what you paid for it. Because,
wow. Wow, that was
but-
the deal, but I don't know. Now I'm feeling really stupid that I have an incredible collector's item here. So,
yeah, but I'm gonna have, when I get it, I'm gonna have MZ's guitar, and I can sell it for twice as much.
Okay. All right, Tony. Thanks for calling. Here's Rory in Watsonville, our last caller before we play Kay Meets Ray.
AMZ, thanks for sharing your mom's commentaries. The last time I saw her, you had her out at the county fair, and that was pretty special.
Yeah.
You were taking her out, and man, her sense of humor is just unbelievable. Her timing,
Yeah.
those ones, the little humor ones, she had me laughing again. I heard all those jokes before, but run a few more after Ray, because you're going to need something to clean the palate once your mom finishes Ray off.
Yeah.
So thank you. Happy Mother's Day
All
to
right.
you and your mom's memory and all the moms.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much, Rory. Okay, so let's hope that the computer doesn't reject this. Okay, wild KSCO interview with nasty super liberal ex-KGO host Ray Taliaferro. Hour 2, Ray meets Kay Zwerling and explodes. This is great because it has the I explain it here. This has Kay's famous "Trump would make a great president" commentary
program,
here.
and sitting in for Dr. Gold today is Michael Zwerling and his guest, Ray Taliaferro, here on AM 1080 KSCO. Santa
Wow,
Cruz.
that's Don Husing.
Don, we had said kill the commentary.
Yes.
Maybe we should unkill it, but I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's start the program. Have it ready to play, okay? Just in case.
Gotcha.
That'll be. Thank you, Don.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man.
It's time for hour number 2 of the Corey Gold radio program on KSCO. If you'd like to call Dr. Gold, the telephone number is 831-479-1080, 479-1080. And now, once again, here's Dr. Corey Gold.
Actually, it's MZ here, filling in for Corey today. We have a special guest, Dr. Ray Taliaferro. Are you a doctor? You might be a doctor that I don't know about. Is that possible, Ray? I don't know.
I'm about to get my second honorary doctorate.
So if you have one, I can call you doctor,
You
and it
certainly can.
wouldn't be incorrect.
You
Okay,
certainly
so
can.
here we are with Dr. Ray Taliaferro here on your favorite radio station, AM 1080 KSCO. Normally, what we do now at the top of the second hour is play a Kay's commentary. And Kay asked me to not play it today. I said, why? He said, well, it's just not, it's sort of counter. It might offend Ray here. And so I said, okay, fine. Besides, we got plenty of things to talk about, and that's a commentary that's been played in other day parts, and you're just about ready to record a new one, I think, right, Ma? So in any case, when Ray said, well, don't change the format for me, so... I guess we'll go ahead and play it, and then we might spark a little discussion. So take it away, Don.
The following is a KSCO commentary. Here is Kay Zwerling.
Because I respect, value, and agree with much of Donald Trump's opinions and know he loves our country as I do, I will use his current advice from his new book,
as this week's commentary. Donald Trump is relentless when it comes to opposing Barack Obama and his policies. He believes an Obama second term in the White House would be devastating for the United States. We have many threats, he says, and the biggest threat is Obama. Trump believes that stopping Obama is crucial. He argues that dealing with OPEC's illegal cartel and lowering oil prices is key to turning around the U.S. and global economies. He also says he would slap a 25% tax on all imports from OPEC nations. A prime example is China. It is devaluing their currency to give themselves a competitive trade advantage. Trump says he will hit China with a 25% tariff on all goods imported to the U.S. He also advocates a 20% tax on all domestic companies that outsource their jobs overseas. He further says, I love free trade, but free trade is no good if you do not have smart people making deals for you with other countries. Trump is worth $7 billion with a B. He wants to save Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And you do that, he says, by creating a strong economy. Trump further favors eliminating the death tax, as I surely do, which he calls immoral and a jobs killer. He wants to lower taxes on capital gains and dividends and reduce the U.S. corporate rate from 39% to 0 to encourage domestic business growth. And he would levy a 20% tax on all companies who outsource jobs overseas. Trump contends that Congress should throw out Obamacare. It cannot be reformed, salvaged, or fixed. It is that bad. And that 2,700-page bill is hurting job creations. Now, about illegal immigration, Trump calls living in America the greatest blessing a person could ever receive, and I totally agree with that. And he wants a serious border fence. He supports tough enforcement when illegals are arrested and opposes efforts to grant in-state tuition to undocumented students. And finally, Trump also says he wants to remain a player in the presidential race because he's fighting for common sense and American values. And I suspect he might even still run for president in the summer of 2012. So these are Trump's thoughts with which I mostly agree. For KSCO, this is Zwerling.
Hey, here we are. Now I'm back on. Did I kick a hornet's nest by playing that commentary? Maybe we should have left it unplayed. I don't know. What do you think, Ray?
I think anybody who pays attention to Donald Trump is ridiculous, stupid, unknowing, absolutely ridiculous. And if you take a look at Donald Trump, I would like to ask anybody, even somebody sitting here with me in this studio, what the hell has Donald Trump done for poor people? What has he done to try to make sure that the people that I grew up with, I grew up poor in Hunters Point, in the projects. And I'll tell you in a moment that when we reach the point where we are like the other countries, the other democracies, where you can simply walk your butt into the hospital and be treated without having to pay for this, having to pay for that or the other. Health is where it ought to be. And for us to claim to be a democracy, why is it we're the only damn democracy in the world? France, you get sick in France, they take care of you. You get sick in England, they take care of you. You get sick in Italy, they take care of you. You get sick in all these other countries, they take care of you. Why on earth are people so stupid in the United States of America that they've got to come on with a comment like that is absolutely racist, it's absolutely sexist, and
Well,
it
go
is,
ahead and talk.
and it is absolutely... It is absolutely one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
Ray,
and is a waste of time, quite frankly.
Excuse me, Ray, are you...
Why the hell, lady, didn't you decide that what you were going to do with this wonderful station is to urge that we finally get around to having health care for people like all our other democracies? No, we don't.
We do, but we want health care. But are you saying that you're happy with Obamacare?
The fact of the matter is...
are you saying that you are happy with...
You don't have to repeat yourself.
Well, you're not answering my question.
I am answering your question.
No,
you just don't like my answer. I'm sorry. You just don't. You just don't act. And now I'm being reminded that you're Michael's mother. I don't give a damn who
doesn't matter.
You are.
I agree with you.
I am not. No.
It doesn't matter who I am.
No, it doesn't matter. That's right.
At least you agree on that.
What matters to me is whether or not Michael has an intelligent mother. He does not.
Well, you're being...
He does not.
Well, okay.
All right,
you're
fine.
entitled.
That is my opinion, and it is the opinion of millions of Americans.
Why are you so hysterical?
No, wait a minute. Why am I? This is the way I speak, lady.
You're
if
yelling.
You get the hell out.
Okay.
Just go.
No.
That's all you have to do.
No, now, please.
No. I'm not going to sit and talk to ignorant people.
Well,
and when you're trying to come up and say that we should not have the same health system that
we should have a better one.
Yeah, well, what's a better one? What's a better
Give us a chance. If you're going to have Obamacare now, we'll never have a better one.
Oh, yes, we will.
No, how?
Because Obamacare is a better care than what we had before.
We had nothing before. Now let's have something that makes sense.
How about wait a minute, hey guys, what about what the
yelling?
Wait, Mom,
I'm not yelling, ma'am. I'm speaking. You invited me to speak here.
No, wait.
This is the way Ray Taliaferro speaks.
Okay, then
now, if you don't like the way Ray Taliaferro speaks, you can do two things.
Wait, you guys. Here, I have to turn off the mic. I have to turn off the mic. You guys relax. Just relax. Here's Mark Silver.
I'm not gonna. I don't take this crap. I don't take it on KGO and have it for 41 years.
And I don't have to take it from you.
No, so you don't have to take it. I'm not asking you to take it, but I'm asking you to start asking me, why is it I'm arguing with you?
You won't let me answer.
No, I don't want to hear that crap any longer.
Well,
it is time that somebody.
It
is time that somebody like you is intelligent enough.
I am intelligent.
How old are you?
90.
Oh, Christ Almighty!
Isn't that amazing?
You mean to tell me you've been around for nearly a century?
Yes.
And you've got to come up with this nonsense?
What nonsense?
Why don't you push for having Medicare?
That's what we want.
Wait a minute.
That's what
No.
Trump wants.
Why don't you push for having medical care like they have it in England, like they have it in Italy, like they have it in all of those other, like they have it in Canada?
Why don't we try without yelling?
No, ma'am, please. This is the way I speak. If you don't like the way I speak, just say, I don't like the way I speak, get the hell out of my studio. That's all you have to do.
I don't have to do things
well, right,
like
but
that.
ma'am, I don't put up with crap.
Okay, so...
And I came down here not to deal with crap. And your ideas are the crappiest things I've heard of in a long time.
Why don't you just be a quiet gentleman?
No. The only way I'm going to be quiet is to leave this damn studio.
No, don't do that.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, why don't you leave it? And why don't you quit telling me to be quiet?
Because I own it.
Well, I don't give a damn what you see. There you go again. Because you're a wealthy little lady. You think that you can say what you want in your studio and what you don't.
No, I think we can talk logically.
No. Ma'am, you've already expressed yourself, and you're refusing to allow me to express myself.
You already did.
No,
you think if we can't have Obamacare that we won't have anything?
What I would like to see you push and every station in the country push for is the same kind of care you get if you happen to be sick
We
in
want
Canada.
to get better than what Obama has offered us.
Hey, wait, I have a
Is there anything
question.
wrong
I have
with
a
that?
question. I have a question for both of you. What about whatever the legislators have, which I think is better than...
that's the best. Absolutely.
What about if we could get what the legislators have? Can we agree on that?
Absolutely. I would
think we
love
probably
that.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's
okay.
look, we're agreeing, Ray.
Okay. Good. So
I don't go for this.
What? You don't go
I
for
really
big, logical.
Ma,
it has nothing to. What makes you think you're so logical?
You
no,
wanted
wait a
us
minute.
to
What makes you
explode.
think it's so logical?
Yeah,
Simply because you're uttering it.
No, it's
Well,
because...
you sound like one of the most illogical little ladies I think I've heard in quite some time.
Oh, well, that's okay. But,
well, all right.
But
Then
like...
don't come up and talk about what's logical and what isn't, especially if you don't have a PhD in psychology.
I don't have that.
Sake.
No, I don't. But if a lot of us believe that Obamacare is not the right thing for our country, why do we have to have it? Why can't we talk about it logically?
It would be wonderful if we finally got the United States to have the same kind of health care. When you need health care in Canada, you walk in and you get it.
Yeah, no, Michael brought up the best idea. We should have what our legislators have. They have excellent care, and we don't. If we suck ourselves into Obamacare, it's not quite right. It's going to break us financially. Don't you care about that? Does it have to be...
Madam, you heard what I said.
Don't call me madam.
Well, madam, you heard what I said. Don't tell me what to call you.
Well, I'm just
madam, you can call whatever you call, whatever you want to call each other, except try not to be profane.
Well, but no one is profane.
No, I know you're not, and you're not either.
And quit telling your mom not to be profane.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, all right. I mean, I deal with reality. She's not sitting here uttering profanities. I think she's sitting here uttering nonsense when what we need in the United... Yes, indeed. But what we need in the United States of America is the same, and I'm repeating myself for the 12th time, the same kind of health care we're getting up in Canada.
I totally agree with you. Then
fine.
We have to get
now move
rid
on.
Of... We have to
move
get rid
on.
of...
She totally agrees with me.
I agree with you, but we have to totally get rid of Obamacare.
Yeah, let's take some calls,
If we take Obamacare now, then we won't be able to get the Canadian.
There's so many people who want to talk.
Yeah, that's good. Let them talk.
Okay, so here, thank you,
And I
Mom.
still like you, Ray. I mean,
I
think
like you
you're
too,
a
madam.
Gentleman, and not,
I just don't like the way you think.
When you say madam, you're demeaning me. Call me Kay.
No, I don't know you well enough to call you Kay.
Oh, how long do we have to talk before you know me well enough?
It'll take a few years for me to understand exactly who you are and what you are and why you are.
Okay, don't.
Okay, all right.
Call me madam.
Okay, all right. So
I'm a courteous fellow.
Okay, so let's see who's been waiting the longest. It looks like someone who is there. There's nobody there. It just says the phone number. But hello, who is this? Who's on the air?
Michael. This is Michael.
Hi, Michael. And you're echoey, but yeah, what's on your mind?
I got my radio off.
Okay, you're on the...
I was listening to Ray Taliaferro, and I was about to call back when you were asking that other man to call back.
Yeah.
This man's an assassin. Okay?
What did
Quite
you say?
literally, I saw him... Well, he represented a Baptist church as a music leader. I saw him ridicule people for what they believe night after night after night after night. And it's Ray Taliaferro or Take a Walk. And you know what? You've got a radio station that listens to people and doesn't humiliate them. And quite literally, you've got a radio station that's better than Ray Taliaferro.
Look,
I love your radio station, and you know what? I love your mother, and you know what? Any man who abuses a lady with the experience that mother has is the fool.
Hey, here's an interesting text I just got from the regular host of this program. Here, I got to get it back on the iPhone here. Yeah, Corey Gold. It says, hire him now. Best radio I have heard in a long time.
There you go.
What?
There you go. And thank you, Corey. And I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Hospital.
And that's why my ratings are super, super high. There's no question about it.
All right.
All you do is take a look at the ratings.
Take your ratings and get the hospitals to give a deal when you go to the hospital. To charge somebody $5,000 a day, they don't do that in foreign countries. Anybody there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So am I.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about it is it's the hospitals. Get the hospitals to give you a reasonable deal without packaging in all the bills of somebody else. In other words, I've spent a lot of time in the hospital, and I've been in the hospital in foreign countries, and the difference between American hospital prices and Canada. What does a regular hospital in Canada charge? They don't extort people when they go to the hospital.
That's exactly right.
You get a common price for everybody, whether they have insurance or not. I pay cash now. I don't have medical insurance.
Do you think that we...
cash.
Sir, do you think we should be happy with Obamacare, or should we strive for something better?
Yeah, the future generations deserve something better. And I like the senator medical care. I would give anything. As a matter of fact, I give it a big chunk of my check to have senator medical care.
Yeah.
Yes.
But literally, I'd like to have what...
I can take credit for that. That was my idea.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Wow.
Well, I endorse the Zwerling medical plan.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are. Who are you? It didn't say on the computer screen.
I'm the guy. I didn't want to upset Ray, but
Make up a name then. Make up a name.
Michael.
Okay.
Michael Dudley Andrews.
Okay,
That's
Michael.
my name, Ray.
Thank you for
And I hope
calling.
to meet you someday, Ray.
It's always a pleasure to meet folk, and I've got to tell you, it's always been my privilege for 41 years to tell it like it is over the air.
The way you...
There's no question about it.
You're a good arguer.
Okay. Here's John in Monterey. John, welcome to KSCO with Ray Taliaferro and MZ. And Kay is here, too. John?
Is this John in Monterey?
Okay, John, that's you. You're on the air.
I'm almost at a loss of words at this point in time. Boy, condescending arrogance.
Who? Me?
Ray. No,
Oh, Ray.
I just, it's one thing to have a conversation. It's another thing to talk people down. And I'm sorry, but this has got to be one of the most crass human beings I've ever listened to. And if Dr. Gold thinks this is great radio, good for him. I love Dr. Gold, but I can do without this guy. This guy has nothing but contempt for everybody else's thought in this world. And it's truly upsetting when he has to yell over everybody else and not let anybody get a thought in. He is so right in everything. I'm about to throw up. And I'm sorry, but I would really prefer not to see somebody like this on the radio station. I love this radio station, but this guy is beyond the pale, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you very much, John in Monterey. Here's Pat in Santa Cruz. Pat, you're on the air on KSCO. Pat hung up. What did I say or do something wrong with Pat? I don't know what's going on here. All right, how about Dean in Monterey? Dean, welcome to KSCO. You're on the air with Ray T and MZ.
Everybody needs to calm down a little bit.
I'm calm.
I'd like to ask all three of you there, as we know about things called body, mind, and soul. And I'd like to know, Ray or MZ or Kay, has anybody seen a soul lately? Has anybody seen one?
I think KSCO has a soul and a heart.
Yeah. Well,
and it's not something you see; it's something you feel. Don't you?
There you go. So here we go. So the physical body isn't your soul. So you guys haven't seen one. So apparently they're invisible. So there goes sexism. There goes racism. When you're looking at a physical body, what sex or color is it? It's very temporary on the physical plane. I'm part black, I'm part American Indian, I'm part Jewish, and probably part everything else. And I don't think it really matters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think if Obamacare was so good, Ray, I'm for Medicare for everybody, but if I thought Obamacare was so good, how come he doesn't opt out of his health care and join Obamacare? or Lyndon Johnson, or Richard Nixon, or any of these people. Ray, why don't they just, if he wants to lead, why doesn't he say, okay, I'm going to get rid of my health care and I'm going to join in Obamacare because that's what I feel it's that good. Why doesn't he do that?
I don't understand your question. The fact of the matter is that the only place I'd like to see my country go is to do what all those other democracies are doing, period. And that is, if you're up in Canada, something happens to you, they take you in. And they'll even take you in if you're not Canadian. And there's no charge.
I've heard that.
There's no.
You're a tourist. No
true.
questions asked.
No questions asked whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you don't need that card. You don't. All you need is the broken arm, or you need the broken this, that, and that's where our country ought to go. And I think that anybody who pushes anything else other than that is ridiculous.
Okay, so let's not get it involved in sexism or racism or any of that. Yeah, like I said, Medicare for everybody would be good, and people should, as maybe one of their rights, have health care and freedom and of speech. And
why is it you're not for the United States of America having the same type of health care that all the other democracies have, that Canada has? Why are you not for that?
I said something like Medicare for all would be great, but so that's not what Obamacare is. But the thing is here's the deal, Ray. It's like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of car you have to buy, what kind of milk you have to buy. I am going to draw the line. I'll tell you in my life.
Well, I draw the line when I'm talking to somebody like you, because for you to even bring up analogies of, I'm not going to tell you what milk you have to buy. I'm not going to tell you what car. We're not talking about cars, sir. We're not talking about milk. We're not talking about whatever the hell it was you just said. The third thing was, we're talking about human beings in the United States of America.
Yeah, but why are you so angry?
Because I have, this is the way I speak.
Yeah,
this is what I've been saying.
I said Obamacare is no good. We need something good for our country.
And the something good we
don't
need
know what it is yet.
Oh, yeah, I
no,
do.
No, we don't.
I do.
We can. Michael's the one that brought the best thing up. We want the same thing that all our people who are making laws for us. They have a wonderful system for themselves. Why can't we have it? Aren't we as good as they are?
I'm going to speak very calmly.
Oh, that's good.
I don't give a damn what those other people are saying about this plan, that plan, the next plan, unless the plan you and all these other legislators is, let's do what all our other democracies do.
Better. What they have is better.
Much better.
Then why? I'm not the democracies. I'm talking about our leaders. Why can't we?
No. Because you're just looking. You're just looking for a different form of the. You're just looking for a different form of the plan that the leader has.
No, I'm not. I want the same thing they have.
What I would like to see is for everyone. I come from a very humble background.
Me too.
Okay. And it seems to me that what we need in the United States of America is the very highest form of medical care.
Wonderful.
For those of us who came out of Hunter's Point.
You're right.
For those of us who came out of the project. For those of us who came off of welfare.
We're on the same wavelength.
Well,
then
we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
And that's why we don't need Obamacare, because it's good.
Obamacare is good for the insurance companies. I mean,
that's agreeing. I'm just simply arguing that what needs to be done for health care in America is what all our other democracies do.
Yes.
Okay, now it's time to go back to the phone line. I want to thank Dean and Monterey for a wonderful call. Dean, you're great. Hope you'll keep calling, okay?
Right on.
Thank you much. Red in Santa Cruz. Oh, and then we're going to have the great Ben in Salinas. But Red, you're on. Go ahead.
Hey, Michael. Thank you for taking my call. I did want to make some comments, and I'm sure that Ray's going to get a little mad at me. But I have a close friend who has no money. And about a year ago, he went and got himself stinking drunk. And being as stinking drunk as he was, he managed to break an eye socket. He had to get a metal plate put in his face at the Dominican hospital. Do you know how much he paid? Nothing. Do you know that they did the operation right away?
Yes, they did. People keep saying that the system is broken. If you have no money, we fix you here.
Right.
You might have a bill, and then, second of all, I don't ever listen to KGO, probably because of the way Ray acted today was very disgusting, in my opinion, rude, and, I mean, the guy is talking about himself in the third person and being incredibly rude and disrespectful towards gay, not even letting anybody have a different opinion. And the way you jumped on people was just crazy. So that's all I want to say. I'll take your comments off the air. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you much. Here, let's go to our next call. You want to respond to that or anywhere? Let's just go to the next call.
No, he's entitled to his opinion. That's what America's all about, as I am entitled to mine.
Yes. Okay, Ben and Salinas. Excuse me, the great Ben and Salinas, so I don't have to be corrected. Yeah.
Ray Taliaferro, this is the great Ben of Salinas. You have been one of my heroes for all of my adult life, and you know what, man? I can't say enough praise for you, and I resent the childish question you get in there. Why are you so mad? If you ain't mad, what the hell? You Americans that call yourself Americans that ain't mad that we don't have single health care, universal health care for everybody. If you aren't mad at that, what the hell's wrong with you, child?
Amen.
I mean, we have to be about an America that works for all Americans, or maybe it's time to go to the wall where Dr. King told us you have to look over that mountaintop, and if you don't like what you see, change it. And God bless you, Ray Taliaferro. You are my hero. I am the great Ben. And our other friend Sheldon, I guess, I invoke his, he didn't like these holy haters. He called them what they are. I call these racist Nazis what they are. I love this country, Ray, like you. We inherited it, but it's broken. We must fix it. And to those of you that asked the childish question, why are you so mad? And I say to them, why aren't you mad?
Yeah.
So you say that to my mom too, right?
With all due respect, yes, sir.
Okay. All righty.
Okay.
I don't have to yell to be mad. I can be mad and still talk logical.
Just be intelligent and be fair.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Karen. There goes Ben and Salinas. Now, who's next here? I think Shannon in Watsonville would be good to have on next, because you've been waiting the longest. Shannon, you're on the air with Ray Taliaferro and MZ, or K and MZ.
Hi.
Then why are you whispering so much, Ma? You said I didn't expect that. Don't you know that your microphone is on?
It's okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's go to the phone lines now. Who's on with us? Did I say who's on? Who's calling? Hello? I don't know what's going on here. Ma, when you whisper, the microphone's going to pick you up because it's live.
Okay. I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay, good. Because once in a while, once in a while, when you get really mad, you use profanity. And
well, I won't use
Oh, no.
You don't want to do that on the air.
Oh, no.
Michael, stop it. You're teasing.
You don't mean a beautiful, well-educated woman like the one sitting next to you.
At lunch later on, she'll tell you some of the filthiest jokes you've ever heard.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Michael, stop that. That's wrong. You know it's wrong.
Okay. All right, next call. Who's on the air here? Who is this? You're on the air, whoever it is.
This is John from Santa Cruz.
Okay.
I just want to make a comment, with all due respect, Kay, your mom. Basically, I've been listening to the show almost more than 5-6 years since I moved in Santa Cruz. I have not heard, as far as, when Obama got elected, anything, new legislation, new law passed, she's been objective to it, not offering something, the both party can agree with something. But if you just dislike everything this man does, not focusing 40 million people, they don't have health care. Instead of watching what Obama does, I think it's fair to see what people, they don't have insurance, how we're going to cover them, instead of, as long as Obamacare doesn't pass, I'm okay with it. Just bring something else.
No, something else good has to come up.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think it's the best way to see it is focus on the people that don't have an insurance. Yes, you can go to the doctor, get it taken care of, emergency, but when it takes time to, for example, if you have a cancer, it takes more money, and the doctor will tell you if you don't have insurance, we cannot treat you all this.
Nobody says don't have insurance, sir. But many of us feel like the Obamacare is not the right thing yet. It's very, very expensive and doesn't cover everybody like it should.
I know. The original, what he was going to pass was not accepted. I disagree. The original he had planned on. However, the new, they came up with the Obamacare. I'm not totally agreeing. There's stuff that needs to be, rewritten. There's stuff, but in general, it's not something never been done. There's some other states, they already have it. So
yeah, all the legislators have excellent insurance, and I think the rest of us are just as good as they are. We should all have the same. We want the excellent insurance that our legislators have. Do you have a problem with that?
I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's just something with common sense. My thing is, it's better you see it in the view of, you should talk about, I don't think he read the whole thing about the Obamacare.
Nobody has.
Basically, but in general, though, the idea is there's something needs to be done. That was just a message, big message was done. And
no one will disagree with that, John. Everybody in this studio should nod their heads. And anyhow, I want to thank you for calling. Hope you'll call again. We got so many other calls we want to get to, but appreciate your input. Thank you, John.
Anytime.
You take
All
care.
right.
Mike in San Jose, it's your turn. Welcome to KSCO with Ray and K and MZ.
Yeah, since Ray has been God's gift to radio, according to him, for 41 years and has a PhD and whatever else. And since he's an expert, why don't you let Ray talk about how he plans on this country paying for it? And by the way, why doesn't he answer the question about how all those other countries' economies are doing, the ones that he's quoted are as having a universal health care paying system? I think he is a fool.
Oh, I've got a great answer for you, sir. And I hope you hang in.
Go ahead.
One of the ways that we can pay for good health care for all Americans, listen to me carefully, sir. Do you know what percentage of the money we have in our federal budget goes for arms, goes for the development of nuclear weapons, goes for the development of even more fighter planes, jet, they've got to be faster, goes for more bombs that we can ignite over here in Washington State and get them over across the sea? I would say, and I must say, and I've seen this done over and over and over again, when I had a debate just like this about 6 weeks ago, and the people rigging the debate indicated that if you have the same kind of health care that they have in England for all their people, you just show up and you get the health care, or in Canada, in any of those other places, do you know?
They have to
wait.
6 weeks.
Do you know what percentage of our hundreds of billions of dollars for defense it would take? 2.7%.
That's all?
That's all.
So
that's all it would take. That's all it would take.
To get a health care system like
it's not
Canada.
even 5%. It's not
Like
even
Canada.
10%. If we...
Good. Let's have it. Let's have a good one.
Well, that's what I argue for.
Yeah. So then don't get mad at me because
No,
I said,
madam,
Hey, Ray,
madam,
Ray.
I just met you.
Ray.
And so I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the thinking. I'm mad at the comments.
The thinking
at
is
the the thinking is that
no good.
what
Ray,
we need.
Ray, answer my second question.
Okay, here.
Answer my second question.
Which one is that?
My second question is this: all the countries you just named having a universal healthcare system, how are those economies doing, Ray? They all have defense budgets.
No.
How are those economies doing?
No. Wait a minute, sir. Didn't you hear what I just said? I'm not talking about messing with our economy by making sure that this beautiful woman sitting to my right gets all the health care. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying let's take a look. Wait a minute. Let's take a look at the hundreds of billions of dollars we spend on defense, and we don't need that. We just don't need it. So,
subject.
You don't think we need
want to
that?
say stop fighting altogether, right?
No, he didn't say that.
No, please.
He was saying we could take a very small amount of what we spend on defense
And all I
and have a
said is
really
that
good health care.
Obamacare is
All right, so you get the idea. There's a lot more to it, and you can go online. Just Google Ray Taliaferro, K. Zwerling, and you can go and listen to that, and there's a lot more of it. We got about 3 minutes left. We have, it looks like Don and Salinas left. I was just going to take his call here. But, when Don is gone, then we could take Colonel Terry, I guess, because he's been waiting a long time. But we got to make it real quick, Terry. You're on. Go ahead.
I have very much enjoyed this reprise with your wonderful mother. I so enjoyed listening to Kay most of the time, and I had a couple of long, multi-hour discussions with her over the years. In fact, driving her back from
County Fair.
The county fair at your request. So
Yeah.
great program, etc. And tell you, they're both right and wrong about different things. Enough said.
Yeah.
They're both dear people in their own way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you for the kind words, Colonel Terry. Appreciate it. Well, it looks like, I don't know, maybe we have time for one more call. There is one on the line here that's being screened. Who is it? Should I just put it on? Who is
Don.
this? Oh, Don. Go ahead, Don. You're on.
Listening to what you were playing of your mother, I have to tell you what it reminded me that I really loved about your mother. She was 100% naturally a lady, and as such, she commanded respect, never demanded it. And there's a difference that's lost on this new generation of people. And the fact that she was a constant. She was a rock in the ocean that the ocean couldn't move. You could always use her as a touchstone. If you're confused, if things are messing up with you, listen to Kay's commentary.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. She was a touchstone. And I just wanted to let you know, I'm glad that you did this, and it's going to help make Mother's Day even that much better. And I just wanted to let you know, your mother was a lady.
Amen. Amen. She was and is and will always be. And we have hundreds of her commentaries that people keep saying we should replay because they're timeless. They really are.
Oh yeah.
And
when your mother made a study of something and had an opinion, you'd better consider it.
when Kay talks, people listen. So
yes.
It's true. Well, thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
Anyhow, you got a dipping, David. And with Kay, and so what can we say? Thank you to Amy for coming up with that great idea. Sometimes it's like a minute before the Saturday special is supposed to happen, and I still don't know what we're going to do. But that was a great suggestion. So, okay, that's it. Have a happy Mother's Day tomorrow, everybody. And if you don't happen to have your mother with you in the standard form, just take advantage of the wonderful thoughts and memories that you can have, as we have done today. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. See you next week, okay? Take care.
I agree with you.